in governance issues. You have the right to access gainful employment. This is the proposal in the Bill of Rights. And you have the right, I talked about your participation in governance issues, but also even to participate in social, political, economic, and other spheres of national life as young people. Children are entitled to adequate nutrition. In other words, you know, the environment should be there for children to have decent, you know, growth. Adequate nutrition, adequate shelter, basic, adequate basic health care and social protection. So children should be protected. And the state has an obligation to ensure that the environment is right. All right? Now, here is the most interesting one. Children have a right to free primary and secondary education. It is in the Bill of Rights. It's a new proposal. Okay. So meaning, government will have to ensure that they provide an environment which allows all children to benefit from the school systems without paying a single penny. All right? So that is for children. Women, we are saying that women, in terms of, now some of you have heard of things like this Bill of Rights wants to introduce gayism. You've heard of gays? Yes. Yeah. Now the same Bill of Rights proposes that a person who attains the age of 19, and you guys told me that you've reached the age of 19, 18? 18? 18, 19? Yes. Okay. So this Bill of Rights says that a person who has attained the age of 19 has the right to choose a spouse of the opposite sex and marry. Okay. Is that gayism? No. So for me, I still challenge people to say, please show me where it is stated. There is one area that I will mention to you, which maybe some people could be mistaken for that. So, the state recognizes the family as the fundamental unit of society. Okay? And it's for that reason that, of course, when you reach marrying age, at the age of 19, you are free to find a partner and marry. Okay? Persons with disabilities have equal rights and opportunities and should be treated so. So, persons with disabilities should not be treated as second-rate citizens. No. All right? So then I will leave out the part that talks about there are some other rights that may be taken away. But again, this document does break them down. And I hope you will read it in your time. There is somewhere where it says you have there are rights that cannot be taken away from an individual. And you also have rights that can be taken away from you. Okay? And in certain circumstances, some rights may be taken away from citizens. And this is like such rights as freedom of movement and assembly. Okay? In the public interest. So, in certain circumstances, some rights may be taken away from citizens. Such rights like freedom of movement and assembly. Now, I would like you maybe to think, what type of situation could that be when your freedom of movement is restricted? Would you know?
I think that one, it's if one breaks the law. Yeah, I think that's when that.
So under such circumstances, what happens if you break the law? You are detained, isn't it?
Yes.
You are restricted, you are confined.
Yes.
Okay? And in the cartoon, you'll find some people who are now in the cells saying, I have the right to a fair trial. Yes, they have. That is your entitlement. Even if you are detained, you have a right to fair trial. You know? And you should not be detained for more than 14 days without a good reason. And you can seek legal relief from unlawful imprisonment. It's all there in this proposal. So, I talked about fair trial, and you should not be persecuted anyhow, just like that. No. Now, some rights may not be taken away, and these are some of these rights that may not be taken away from include the protection from inhuman treatment and fair trial, and of course security of the person, and if need be, you can demand. If say it's a Kufuna who perhaps committed an offense against you, and I keep dodging and looking, so you can go to court and ask for what they call a habeas corpus, all right? So that I am brought to court and appear and answer the questions. So you have that right. And then you have the freedom of conscience, freedom of belief, and freedom of religion. Now, this is where now people say, because of this freedom of belief, freedom of conscience, this is where they say, so these people that claim to be gays and the like, this is what they may be using, because they will claim that, no, I have the freedom to think the way I want to think. But you see, the same Bill of Rights, and under status applications and interpretation of the Bill of Rights, has a provision that says a Bill of Rights protects and guarantees your rights. But it should not be against the morals and the values of that society.
Okay.
So, we as Zambians, what are our morals? What are our values? Even if you have freedom of belief, freedom of conscience, or indeed religion, all right? We believe in a family unit. So, does that suggest gayism?
No,
so, that's, those are some of the questions you may want to ask. So, I want to conclude with, I've talked about further rights. I want to conclude with how this bill will be enforced. Government, I told you, that has a responsibility. So the government, the president, firstly, the state shall take reasonable measures for the progressive realization of rights. Okay? The state shall take reasonable measures for the progressive realization of rights. In other words, government will take deliberate moves to ensure that the environment is right for you to enjoy your rights. Are we together? You can see that this lady is now because now we have stopped paying attention. We're just looking at the lady.
No, sorry, that's what you're saying. Sure.
All right. And it goes further to say the president shall each year, when addressing the National Assembly, report on the measures that government has taken in the realization of the Bill of Rights. So do you see, it brings in the accountability of government to you as citizens. Okay, you are represented by your members of parliament, and so that's why these things are there. Okay, so then you can seek redress in the Constitutional Court, or indeed, if you think your rights are not being met, you can go to court. Okay? Yeah. And by the way, if you feel your neighbor, and this is now where this thing of citizens arrest comes in, if you think your neighbor is abusing the children, there is a part that says a person may bring an action against the violation of another person's rights and freedoms. If you know of a parent who is abusing some children, you can report. You can go to court. Okay? So, if I see my neighbor abusing a dependent, I can take action. Okay? So, I hope that you're going to read this document. I've left out, there is a part on the Bill of Rights. Okay? Now, the important thing about the Bill of Rights is that for any changes in the Bill of Rights, you need a referendum. And that's Article 79. So that's why we had to do this amendment to